Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So lots to negotiate on this video today. But the first topic of the development, I'm going to give you an update on is in regards to Matty's Ligt. Now I haven't spoken to you guys about Matty's Ligt in quite a while. Now potentially it does say according to the media that Manchester United have reached an agreement with Ajax for Matty's Ligt. So it does say a deal has reportedly been agreed. We do know Matty still has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation, and we do know he's been widely spoken about throughout the course of this window. So it still remains uncertain at the moment, where he will be applying his trade going on into this season. We do know it's very imminent, of course. He is going to be leaving Ajax, but reports did suggest out earlier on this month that reportedly Matty still was on the verge of joining Juventus, and it did reportedly say he had agreed personal terms and that with Juventus, and I think his actual preference is a move to Juventus. But reportedly now talks have currently stalled, between they've come to a stumbling block of negotiations, between Juventus and Ajax over the transfer fee, because they have not yet, come to an agreement on the transfer fee. I think he is valued at around 70 or 75 million pounds. That's probably how much Matty's Ligt is going to cost you. I think Juventus have reportedly already made an opening offer for Matty's Ligt, but I think it was actually quite it was below obviously Ajax's valuation. I think Juventus did allegedly offer within the region of around, was it 40 odd million pounds with add-ons included. So I think they offered around 55 million pounds in total. So they offered around 18 million pound less than what currently Ajax are currently demanding. So it does say now talks between Juventus and Ajax have currently stalled. But we do know so many teams have inquired about his current services. Obviously I think Barcelona, of course, are still in there. Obviously Barcelona had been considered the favourites at least for the last couple of months. But obviously even some of the media were speculating, saying that Barcelona had reached an agreement with Ajax and all that. He even said transfer fee and that had been agreed, but obviously they couldn't come to an agreement on the terms, because obviously Barcelona were not willing to meet what the Ligt was demanding. They was not willing to meet what his agent Raiola and that was currently demanding, so they couldn't come to an agreement on the terms. But I do believe if Manchester United are willing to meet what Ajax are demanding, and if PSG are willing to meet what Ajax are currently demanding, then it could come to either Manchester United or Paris Saint-Germain, of course. But we do know, I still say, Juventus, of course, are in the ascendancy. Obviously, Liverpool were in for him at one point. It did come out, was it around 2 or 3 weeks ago, saying that PSG had offered him a 5-year contract, worth up to around 340 grand a week. But we do know Matty still has been one of our main priority targets. It did say at one point, we'd offered Matty still a contract, worth up to around 350 grand a week. Obviously, that equates to around 17 million pounds a year. And like I did say, if that had a process, that would make him the highest paid teenager in world football, and also would have made him one of the highest paid players in the club. So possibly Matty still could still make a move to Manchester United. Like it says, Manchester United have reached an agreement with Ajax over the transfer of Matty's Ligt. So it still remains uncertain, like I said, where he will be applying his trade next season. Obviously we do know that Barcelona have already got a deal over the line for his current teammate Frankie de Jong. I think Barcelona did get him for around 65 million pounds, and I think his preference at one point was to make a move to Barcelona, because probably he was keen on reuniting with his teammate Frankie de Jong and all that. Obviously at one point Liverpool were in for Matty Ligt. At one point Manchester City were in for him. I think Bayern Munich, of course, have previously been in for him. So many teams have inquired about his current services. So Matty Light's agent Raiola obviously held talks with Juventus and all that. But I think Raiola did say a couple of weeks ago he's informed Juventus to make Matty their second highest paid player behind Cristiano Ronaldo. So Juventus, I still believe they are in the ascendancy. I do believe Juventus, will have to improve their offer. So obviously, convinces, Ajax, to currently offload them to Juventus. But for the time being now, while talks are stalled, between Juventus and Ajax, Manchester United are in there. Obviously, PSG are in there, Barcelona and that are in there for him. But he's a very, very good central defender. He's only 19 years of age. Obviously, so far, he has spent the entirety his career with Ajax. I think he made his senior debut for the Netherlands at just the age of 17, and I think he made his senior debut for Ajax at just the age of 16. And like I said, now he's only 19, and of course Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has worked out his transfer strategy for this summer. Obviously he wants to develop a squad of young, hungry, homegrown talents, and we do need central defending. I've heard the vast majority of Manchester United fans saying that we need two central defenders, because the likes of Smalling's not good enough. Obviously we do know that Phil Jones of course is not good enough, but we need a central defender, because because we've got issues defensively, and we haven't had a world class central defence since we had the likes of Vidic, since we had the likes of Ferdinand. And last season we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League in 38 Premier League games, and that's our highest total in nearly 40 years, or is it actually 40 years? So we have got to get a central defender in. So Matty Stillett to Manchester United, could still possibly happen. But Matty Stillett, was actually saying a while back, he wants to go to a club that's got Champions League football and all that. Obviously Manchester United haven't got Champions League football, and he also said he wants to go to a club that can assure him first team football. And this is something Manchester United, would be able to do if he came to Manchester United. He would help us with our own rebuilding project, and he would be assured first team football week in week out. But if he does come to the Premier League, it will rejuvenate his career, of course, and it will take his footballing career to the next level. But Matty Stillett, like I said, he's had about 2.5-3 years of experience under his belt now in United's senior squad. I think he's made about 117 appearances for them in all competitions. He's the only defender as well to win the Golden Boy Award. I think he actually won this last year, and also last season he enjoyed a fantastic season with Ajax, captaining them to the domestic double for the first time in 17 years. Also captaining them to the Eredivisie title for the first time in 5 years, and of course Ajax last season progressed to the Champions League semi-final. So Matty Stillett can leave Ajax with his head held up high. But like I said, I still say Juventus are in the ascendancy, but Juventus of course got to increase their current offer. So whether they're willing to do this or not, I do not currently know. But as I do know at the moment, Juventus talks have hit a stumbling block between Juventus and Ajax over the transfer fee. I did say along this month, like I said, the personal terms have been agreed with Juventus and Matty said and all that, and it did say he was on the verge of joining Juventus. So there has been actually a change of scenery in this, but I really like him a lot. Like I said, he's so far spent the entirety of his career with Ajax. He's been in Ajax player since the age of 8, the age of 9. Obviously graduated from their youth system and all that, and he has become an integral part of their team since he did break into their first team. And I think he became more of a first team regular. Did Matty Stillett, when Davinson Sanchez left for Tottenham a couple of years ago and all that. So there is still a lot of talks about him currently going on, but it does say Manchester United have reportedly reached an agreement with Ajax, for Matty Stillett and all that. So possibly could still come to Manchester United. Like I said, it is going to be hard for us to attract players to elite level because obviously we're not in Champions League football for next season. Champions League football is always very pivotal, when you do want to get number one targets, and it's also going to be hard for us to convince our imperative players to stay in the football club because again, we're not in a Champions League football and all that. Solskjaer did say anyway, he wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad. Obviously, so far this summer, we've got 2 signings on the board. Obviously, it's our first 2 signings under the Elegant Solskjaer era. Daniel James 18 million, and Wan-Bissaka in a deal worth around 50 million pounds. So that's taken our net spend up to around 65 million pounds so far this summer. But for the entirety of this window now, we have been mainly focusing on the incomings, but I think we need to focus more on the outgoings, to balance the books. I think we've got to sell players, to help us generate funds and definitely rebuild the squad. But I think from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's perspective, he did actually say, he wants to confirm at least one more sign, before we do go on pre-season tour in Australia, and I think we do go on pre-season tour tomorrow, if I'm right. But I did say at the beginning of the week, I want Manchester United to get 2 signings completed. So it looks like my hopes, of course, have currently gone out of the window and all that. But like I said, there's still lots to address in the squad and all that, because we've got to get the right players to Manchester United this summer that can elevate Manchester United forward, get us back to being a competitive elite level football club. I do believe our expectations probably going on to next this season will be to probably finish in the top 4. I don't think our expectation will be to win the league or challenge for the league and all that, because I think we're at least a couple of years off doing this. Because obviously, we need to revitalise the squad and all that. But I do believe in the next couple of seasons, our aspirations, will be that current top 4, like I said. But yeah, Matty Stillett, would be the right solution for Manchester United. His attributes are really, really good. But I think Solskjaer wants to bring an experienced central defender, and he has got that experience as Matty Stillett. Don't get me currently wrong. He holds his line well. He shows that ability to play out from the back. Very, very good player indeed. But I think if Juventus are willing to improve their offer, I think he'll probably not end up making the move to Juventus. But I was reading reports about this yesterday, and I hadn't read up about Matty Stillett, for quite a while, but it just said Manchester United had allegedly, agreed a deal with Matty Stillett, with Ajax and all that. And so it still remains uncertain where he will be applying his trade next season. But we need someone that can go alongside Victor Lindelof in our backline, because I was very impressed with Victor Lindelof's performances last season. I think he did really, really well. He held his line well. His distribution was good. His passing in that were really, really good. Lindelof's been here 2 seasons. Obviously, in his first season, didn't really settle in. Struggled for consistency in his first season, but in his second season, he really, really stepped up to the plate. And I think the likes of Matty Stillett, would complement Victor Lindelof in our backline, really, really well. But I did say in terms of the transfer fees, he's probably going to cost you from between 70 to 75 million pounds, and I think this is what Ajax are currently looking for, and that is quite a lot of money for the young central defender. But he is a really, really good player. So if it comes to the Premier League, he's definitely got all the attributes to definitely succeed. I think he'll exceed expectation levels in the Premier League. But obviously, Matty Stillett anywhere wants to rejuvenate his current career. So for a long, long time, we're waiting for an initial decision on his future and all that, and we're waiting for a long time and all that. But then it came out saying he had made a decision on his future, and it said from Sky Sports, was it 2 or 3 weeks ago, that he was set to join Juventus. Juventus had agreed to personal terms. Raiola had been in negotiations with Juventus and all that, but they have not come to an agreement on a transfer fee. So now this has hit a stumbling block in negotiations, like I said, between Juventus and Ajax. So now Manchester United are back in there for him. Barcelona still in for him. PSG, of course, are still in there for him. So it still remains uncertain at the moment, but more things, will currently update. Obviously, there's been so many central defenders on our current agenda now. With Harry Maguire now, I think actually Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has identified Harry Maguire as his number one defensive target. Now, obviously, it did say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, like I did said, asked our British players in our squad, about their thoughts on Harry Maguire, because obviously, he wants to get some feedback about Harry Maguire, before we do step up our interest in the player. And we've got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the British players he asked in our squad, give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer good remarks about Harry Maguire, because obviously the likes of Rashford, Young, Jones, Smalling, Lingard, obviously they're all going to know about Harry Maguire, because obviously Harry Maguire is English and all that. But yeah, so I think now actually Manchester United are in pole position to currently sign him, because obviously Manchester City are not willing to meet what Leicester are currently demanding, and I even think Mike Phelan has instructed Manchester United to prioritise a transfer for Harry Maguire, because probably Mike Phelan is keen on reuniting with the player, because don't forget Mike Phelan managed Harry Maguire during Harry Maguire's time with Hull. Well, a bit of it because Mike Phelan only had a short tenure with Hull City and all that. But reports came out earlier on this week from Sky Sports, as you all know, said we'd reportedly put a bid in around £70 million. Obviously, this is too insufficient for Leicester, because they're looking for somewhere in the region of around at least £75 million. Some reports have speculated saying they want around £85 million. Some reports have said they want around £90 million. But Sky Sports did say that talks have been ongoing, between the both Manchester clubs and Leicester, over quite some time now. Well, for several weeks at least. But I do believe now Manchester United are in pole position to currently signing, because City are not willing to meet what Leicester are demanding for Harry Maguire. But looking at it, ultimately, Leicester don't want to sell Harry Maguire, because obviously Leicester know how much an imperative player he is. This is what they don't want to sell him. This is the main factor reason why they've priced him out of the transfer market, and this is why of course they are demanding an extortionate amount. So more than likely, if Manchester United do pay what Leicester are demanding, obviously it probably will make him the most expensive defender in world football, ahead of Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk, who of course Liverpool paid £75 million for. But obviously, reflecting back the other week, it was looking like City were in the ascendancy of getting a deal concluded for Harry Maguire, because obviously Manchester City have identified Harry Maguire as their number one target to replace Vincent Kompany, and he did say the other week that Harry Maguire's preference is actually a move to Manchester City, and you can understand why, because obviously he's probably eager to play under Pep Guardiola's guidance, because probably he believes he'll flourish under Pep Guardiola's guidance. Obviously City are in Champions League football, obviously City are the dominant force in England at the moment, so you can probably understand why Harry Maguire currently wants to go there. But he did say talks had hit a stumbling block between Manchester City and Leicester over the actual fee, because obviously, like I said, City are not willing to pay what Leicester are currently demanding. So I do believe we are confident now we can outbid Manchester City for his services. Obviously, towards the back end of last week, obviously, it came out saying that we'd allegedly withdrawn our interest, because obviously, it did say alleged last week that Leicester wanted around £100 million. It said they wanted £90 million up front, over £10 million, of course, add-ons. But I like Harry Maguire a lot, proven in the Premier League. He's been at Leicester 2 seasons, and he has exceeded expectation levels. Obviously, he's made 76 26 appearances for Leicester in all competitions. Obviously, 69 of those appearances have come in the Premier League. Obviously, signed a new long-term contract with Leicester last summer, so he's done the contract with Leicester, until 2023. Like I said, Leicester did pay around £17 million for his services from Hull City. And he's still only 26 years of age. He's in his prime. He has still got a lot of development minimum and all that. But he shows that ability to power out from the back. He's very, very good in the air. His distribution's really, really good. His pass accuracy is really, really good. And I think he is regarded as one of the best centre halves in the Premier League. If I'm going to be quite honest with you, I probably wouldn't put him in Virgil van Dijk's calibre or level, but I still think Harry Maguire is regarded as one of the best centre halves in the Premier League. Like I said, he's also British, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talent to Manchester United this summer. But I like Harry Maguire a lot. Obviously Leicester, I think, are on the brink of getting, a signing, a closing on getting Yuri Tillemans, because obviously, like I said, Leicester have been in talks with Monaco for several weeks over getting a deal over the line for Yuri Tillemans. I think Leicester have confirmed the signing of Perez from Newcastle, if I'm right. I think that's been fully made official and all that. But yeah, I'd love Harry Maguire, to come to Manchester United, because he would improve his defensively, and he would be an absolutely great addition to the squad, if he was currently to come in. I don't think Harry Maguire's got any intentions of coming to Manchester United, but if Manchester United are willing to pay what Leicester are demanding, this will convince Leicester to currently offload him. It also said Arsenal had inquired about his services, because it said they tried to hijack our move. Harry Maguire said they'd offered in the excess of around £50 million. Obviously, this is way below Leicester's valuation. It's around £34 million less than what currently Leicester are demanding, because obviously Arsenal have got issues defensively. Obviously Arsenal have got a tight budget this summer. They've only reportedly been given around between 40 to 45 million pounds to spend. So Arsenal themselves will probably have to sell players, to help them generate funds and rebuild their current squad. But like I was saying, I think we need to focus on selling players as well, to help us generate funds and rebuild our squad. Don't forget, we've allegedly only been given £100 million to spend. I thought initially, we'd been given around £200 million to spend. But obviously, £100 million isn't enough, for us to address the deficiencies in the squad. Obviously, isn't enough for us, to bring a number of players there that we do currently want in. So we do obviously need to offload quite a few players. But as I was saying, Harry Maguire, would be a fantastic addition to the squad, and I think he's indicated that he wants to come to a toxic club, to a top six club, to rejuvenate his career, take his footballing career and that to the next level. And obviously, he's not going to intend on spending the rest of his playing career with Leicester. But he's been relentlessly linked to a move to Manchester United, because reflecting back last summer, when under the Jose Mourinho era, obviously Harry Maguire was one of the players that Jose Mourinho wanted. But obviously, reflecting back last summer, the board weren't backing the signings that Jose Mourinho, wanted to recommend to come in to the football club. The board weren't backing the signs that I wanted to currently bring in. But I think, Leicester said they wanted around £71 million last summer, but of course we were not willing to pay that. So Harry Maguire's been relentlessly linked to a move to Manchester United, like I said, since last summer and all that. And obviously, the rumours have continued to persist since then. But we just need someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. Obviously, there's been a lot of talks about Issa Diop from West Ham, as you all know. And looking at it from a financial point of view, probably Issa Diop would be a cheaper solution than Harry Maguire. Probably would be a cheaper solution than Koulibaly and all that. But I think Issa Diop is one of our priority targets. And Issa Diop is proven in the Premier League. Obviously, last season was his first season in the Premier League with West Ham. I think he played around 38 games in all competitions. Obviously, West Ham got him last summer from Toulouse for around £22 million. He has got 4 years left on his contract with West Ham. But allegedly, it came out last month, saying that reportedly, we'd offered West Ham a player plus cash offer. It said reportedly we'd offered around £45 million, and we'd offered Phil Jones as part of the deal for Issa Diop. But reportedly, West Ham had instantly turned this down, so they didn't entertain this bid. But we have been in for Issa Diop at least in the last couple of weeks. I think he did say from his preferences, his move is Manchester United, so he's keen on making a move to Manchester United. West Ham are reluctant to sell him, but I think West Ham would consider offloading him. If Manchester United were to offer in the excess around £60 million. But I think it did initially say earlier on this week we are preparing to put our first formal offer in for him, and he did say we are willing to offer in the region of around £45 million for his services. So Issa Diop is only 22 years of age, so very, very young. Still got a hell of a lot of development in him. He's 6'4", so he's very, very tall. So I do presume he's very, very good in the air. Obviously, I think he's also a very, very good athlete. Came out a week, or was it 2 weeks ago now, saying that West Ham demanded Anthony Martial in exchange for his CD, but obviously Manchester United wouldn't currently go along with that. So yeah, we've definitely got to get at least one central defender in. And I've heard some Manchester United fans basically saying it's actually more essential that we get some reinforcements in that midfield and we get a right winger in than a central defender. So maybe some people are saying it's more essential that we get a couple of midfielders in and a right winner than a central defender. But yeah, like I said, there is still lots to address in the squad. Obviously, Koulibaly, I'd probably say now he's almost out of the equation, because I think Napoli are reluctant to offload him. Obviously, Napoli are demanding an extortionate amount for him. A lot of people have still been talking about Toby Alderweireld from Tottenham. Now, Toby Alderweireld, I don't think it's in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plan, to recommend, Toby Alderweireld in. Obviously he's aging up, he's 30 years of age now. He has lost that yard in the pace. Don't get me wrong, he's he's available for a reasonable figure, so he's going to cost you, it's going to cost you for next to nothing, basically, is Toby Alderweireld. So Toby Alderweireld basically would substantially cost us a lot less than Koulibaly, substantially cost us a lot less than Harry Maguire, substantially cost us a lot less than Matty Serdele. So he's a cheaper solution and all that, but I don't think the club are intending on bringing Alderweireld in, even though he's Premier League proven his Alderweireld. Obviously, he's been at Tottenham 4 years and he's done really, really well. Obviously, he's available for £25 million because that's his release clause, as you all currently know. Obviously, Tottenham activated the 12-month extension back in January, was it? And they included this £25 million release clause based on Toby Alderweireld's refusal to sign a new contract. But yeah, Manchester United were in for Alderweireld last summer, and I still think he will be a good upgrade of what we've got in our current defence at the moment. But obviously, we've got other potential targets on our agenda. So I'd probably say Alderweireld is out of the equation. But yeah, there's been so many central defenders on our current agenda. But like I said, I think we do know that obviously Antonio Valencia has left the club, because we did say we do want a summer clear out. So we know Valencia's left the club. Obviously, he served 10 years there with Manchester United. Obviously, we know Ander Herrera, of course, has left the club on a free transfer. He signed a 5-year deal, I think, with PSG. So obviously, we're going to need an adequate replacement for him. With Diamond and Rojo, I think we need to sell them too. Whether we do or not, I do not know. But I said initially it was looking imminent. We was going to be selling them, and I think we should, because Diamond's enjoyed a difficult time at the club. Rojo's enjoyed a difficult time at the club. I think Rojo's career at Manchester United has been really affected, with the amount of injuries he has sustained, and with Darmian, he's just enjoyed a difficult time. Darmian hasn't really been given the opportunity, so I think we can generate, like I said, around 25 or 30 million pounds for their current departures. Like I said, with Sanchez, I'm still sceptical about Sanchez, leaving him at the moment, because the club are finding it very, very difficult, to offload Alexis Sanchez. Obviously, based on his substantial wages, basically, and that's what's finding it very difficult. We find it very difficult, to offload him. I think De Gea's probably going to be staying now. Obviously, we know Juan Mata, of course, he's staying. If we sell Pogba, if we sell Lukaku again, I think that'll help us with our rebuilding process, and of course, it will help us out with our transition, because I do believe we can generate around £200 million for their departures. Because don't forget, Paul Pogba and Lukaku are our two most expensive signings, of course. We paid £89 million for Pogba, obviously £75 million for Romelu Lukaku. So obviously our two most expensive signings. So like I said, we do need some reinforcements in that midfield. That's very, very essential. As I updated you on my previous video within regards to Sean Longstaff, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer instructed Manchester United, I think earlier on this week, to get a deal secured for Sean Longstaff. Now, I do believe Manchester United have been in talks with Newcastle over coming to an agreement on a fee and all that. Potentially, like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to sign if Sean Longstaff confirmed this week, as he did, currently say and all that. I think it did say we are preparing to put a bid in for him of around £15 million. It did say initially, with add-ons included. I think Newcastle valuing from between 25 to 30 million pounds. But now actually, there has been a change of scenery, because obviously, Sky Sports have reported saying that Manchester United are preparing to put a bid in for Sean Longstaff. So we are willing to step up our interest and all that. But reportedly now, Newcastle have indicated they are not willing to sell Sean Longstaff, and Sky Sports News have been informed that Sean Longstaff is going to cost us more than £50 million. So I do believe now Newcastle want at least £50 million. Of course, if they are willing to offload him, whether Manchester United will be willing to pay this figure that Newcastle are demanding him or not, I do not know. So now basically we could actually withdraw our interest in Sean Longstaff, based on now that Newcastle have said they want around £50 million, because obviously Newcastle have obviously lost Pereira. Maybe now they are reluctant, to currently offload Sean Longstaff. But like I did currently say, I think initially, we had been given a boost in our pursuit of Sean Longstaff, following the departure of Rafael Benitez. Obviously, he's gained a bit of experience. Obviously, last season was his first season in the senior squad with Newcastle. Obviously made his debut in December of last year. Obviously, he played. I think he played around 11 games under Rafael Benitez's guidance last season. I think his performances are actually very, very impressive. He is under contract with Newcastle until 2022. He signed a new long-term contract not too long ago. He initially began his career with Newcastle. He also had loan spells in Scotland with Kilmarnock. He also had a loan spell with Blackpool and all that. But I still believe that Sean Longstaff is regaining full fitness, because obviously remember back in March he had sustained a knee ligament injury. Obviously, so I don't think he played the last couple of months of last season, and I still believe now he's regaining full fitness, due to that knee ligament injury he had sustained. I think he sustained this knee ligament injury, back in March and all that. But he is only 21 years of age, so still got a hell of a lot of development in him. Obviously, he's British as well. But like I said, if Sean Longstaff does come to Manchester United, I am a bit sceptical of him getting straight into the first team, because maybe he won't get straight into the first team and all that. But the difference is with Bruno Fernandes, obviously, he's more experienced as Sean Longstaff, and obviously Bruno Fernandes obviously would be assured to get straight into the first team with Manchester United, of course, if he does come in. So I did say, looking at it, probably our next two signings are going to be Sean Longstaff and Bruno Fernandes. It could be looking likely anyway that maybe Sean Longstaff is going to be our third signing, maybe Bruno Fernandes is going to be our third signing. There, I'm not too sure, but looking likely it is actually going to be Sean Longstaff that's going to be our third signing. As I've been updating you about Bruno Fernandes and all that, obviously the transfer saga does continue to persist about Bruno Fernandes, because he has been subject to a lot of transfer speculation. He has been widely spoken about throughout the course of this window and all that. Obviously, reports emerged out earlier on this week in regards to Bruno Fernandes' agent. He did say that Bruno Fernandes' agent had travelled to the UK to allegedly thrash out a deal a deal with Manchester United for his client. I think he's held talks with Tottenham as his agent. I think he's also held talks with Liverpool, because obviously Tottenham and Liverpool have been in there for Bruno Fernandes. But I think Bruno Fernandes' agent is looking for the best possible deal for his client. But reports actually emerged out earlier on this week saying that Tottenham and Liverpool had withdrawn their interest. Obviously, reflecting back about 7 weeks ago, it was looking like the City were going to get a deal concluded for Bruno Fernandes. But obviously, as it confirmed, City had come withdrew their interest. So it initially said earlier on this week, we were the only team in the running, to come sign Bruno Fernandes and all that. But I do believe it did say in the media yesterday that Bruno Fernandes was seduced by Manchester United and all that, because obviously by our latest offer, because it said reportedly we've offered Bruno Fernandes around 4.5 million to 5.3 million a season in wages, and now reportedly he has been seduced by this offer. So I think Bruno Fernandes is keen on making a move to Manchester United. Did come out on Monday saying that we'd held negotiations with Bruno Fernandes' representatives and all that, and he did basically say we have come to an agreement on the personal terms. We've reached an agreement in that area with Sporting Lisbon, but no fee, of course, has yet come to an agreement. So I do believe Manchester United will hold more talks with Sporting Lisbon, and that over coming to an agreement on a fee. I do believe Sporting Lisbon want in the region of around £55 million. Sporting Lisbon president, this came out from Sky Sports a couple of weeks ago. The Sporting Lisbon president, did come out and say there has been talks with Bruno Fernandes about his future and all that. But I think the president of Sporting Lisbon did say they would accept a bid in the region of around £53 million. But I think Manchester United only want to pay him around £32 million for Bruno Fernandes. But like I said, we've been considered the favourites to sign Bruno Fernandes at least for the last 3 to 4 weeks. Obviously, this is coming from a ball at the Portuguese press. They've obviously classified us, suggested out that we are the favourites to currently sign him. It's very imminent. He is going to be leaving Sporting Lisbon. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes has been Bruno Fernandes has been at Sporting Lisbon quite a few seasons. He's exceeded expectation levels. Obviously, hasn't played to the highest level as yet, but last season he scored 31 goals in all competitions last season for Sporting Lisbon. So if he comes to Manchester United, he'll rejuvenate the team, he'll get us them goals that we need in that midfield, and I do believe he'll make a big impact in that midfield. And if he comes to the Premier League, you know, it will rejuvenate his career. Like I said, it will take his footballing career to the next level. But yeah, and Bruno Fernandes is still under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023, because I do believe he signed a 5-year contract last summer. I think his initial release clause is around £88 million. But Bruno Fernandes, when he was younger, spent the majority of his career in Italy, you know, the likes of Sampdoria and Udinese. I think he also played for Novria. But I still believe now, according to recent reports, that Liverpool and Tottenham are still in there for Bruno Fernandes. I think Liverpool are set to hold negotiations with his agent and all that. But obviously, Bruno Fernandes' agent is basically, you know, looking for the best deal for his current client. But I don't think Bruno Fernandes to Manchester United will be made official this week. Obviously, you know, that's not going to currently happen, but it may be made official sometime next week. So basically, the stumbling block is the fee, because only thing we've got to do now is come to an agreement on a fee. We've got to come to an agreement on a fee, and that is the stumbling block at the moment. So no fee has yet been agreed between Manchester United and Sporting Lisbon. So obviously we're seeing Bruno Fernandes as an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba and all that. And I think even if Paul Pogba was to stay at the football club, we know he's not going to now, but even if he was to stay, I still think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was orchestrating, you know, bringing two new additions in that current midfield and all that. So very, very essential that we get a replacement for Paul Pogba. Obviously, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now has identified his number one target to replace Paul Pogba, and that is Saul Niguez from Atletico Madrid. Now, there has been talks about Saul Niguez going on in the last couple of days. The media, he's been circulating around the media saying that, you know, Manchester United are interested in signing Saul Niguez. I think it will be hard to do business with Atletico Madrid, because obviously Atletico Madrid are on the verge of losing Antoine Griezmann and all that. And I think anyway, Saul Niguez is going to cost them a substantial amount, because I think the only way that Atletico Madrid are going to be willing to offload him is if his current release clause is triggered, and his release clause I think is around £135 million. So he's going to cost a substantial amount. Is Saul Niguez. Saul Niguez can play as a central midfielder. He can also play as a defensive midfielder. Saul Niguez has spent the entirety of his career, I think, over Atletico Madrid. Obviously, you know, graduated from their youth system, and I think he's gone to make like over 200 odd appearances for Atletico Madrid and all that. He's only 24 years of age, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. Reflecting back a couple of years ago, Saul Niguez signed a 9-year contract with Atletico Madrid, and I still believe he's got 7 years. Is it around 7.5 or 7 years remaining now on that contract still? But yeah, it does say Manchester United have identified him. We've basically identified him as our number one target, you know, to currently replace Paul Pogba at the football club. I think the vast majority of Manchester United fans would like to see James Maddison come in. Like I said, I like James Maddison a lot, and again, I think he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba. Yuri Tillemans, I think he's out of the equation now. Yuri Tillemans, because like I said, he's closing in on a move to Leicester. But yeah, who should replace Paul Pogba at the football club? So do you think, you know, Saul Niguez, you know, would be the right solution? As we updated you earlier on as well, in regards to Paul Pogba, obviously, you know, the big breaking news came out at BBC. I read it in BBC Sport yesterday. This was actually, you know, stemming from Paul Pogba's agent, you know, Mini Raiola, and he's actually confirmed that Paul Pogba, you know, wants to leave Manchester United. And Paul Pogba's agent Raiola told the Times about this. Obviously, there's been more. Obviously, Paul Pogba, I think this week has been absent from pre-season training. So obviously, you know, that's added more speculation about his long-term future. But obviously, you know, Paul Pogba reports suggest out last month anyway, you know, that Paul Pogba had confirmed, you know, he publicly admitted, you know, he wants to leave Manchester United. Obviously, you know, he did say he's seeking for a new challenge, and probably, you know, Paul Pogba, you know, wants to rejuvenate his career. And it did say at one point he was even willing to go on strike, you know, to force a move away from Manchester United and all that. But I think he did say Ole Gunnar. I think it did say that anyway, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is set to hold talks with Paul Pogba in regards to his future. But I think Paul Pogba now has actually, you know, submitted a transfer request. And I think it was initially in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans to build a side around Paul Pogba, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player he is, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't want Paul Pogba to leave the football club and all that. But I think Paul Pogba's made it clear, you know, he does want to leave Manchester United. Obviously, we've recently indicated out he's not for sale, but he did say we would accept a bid in the region around around £150 million. And even though Paul Pogba hasn't been the fundamental player as we all thought he would have been, I'd still say in this market at this day and age, I'd still say he's within the region around 140 or 150 million pounds. But we do know it's Real Madrid and Juventus that are battling out for his services. I do believe Paul Pogba's first choice preference is Real Madrid. Obviously, I think his likely destination has been Real Madrid, for quite some time. Obviously, Real Madrid are not keen on a straight cash payment, and he did say Real Madrid are not willing to pay up to the 150 million pounds. So Real Madrid are hoping to include one or maybe two of their players, to in a bid, for them to currently sign Paul Pogba. So Real Madrid are desperate, to include Gareth Bale in their bid, to currently sign Paul Pogba, because obviously Real Madrid want to offload Gareth Bale. Obviously Real Madrid did confirm this at the end of last season, but I think Real Madrid have wanted Gareth Bale out at least for last year or two. But obviously, but I think according to Gareth Bale's agent, he suggested out that, Real Madrid, Gareth Bale has got no intentions of leaving Real Madrid. So I do believe he feels happy at Real Madrid, does Bale. But Bale has been relentlessly linked to a move to Manchester United since 2012, 2013, and of course the rumours have continued to persist since then. Like I said, I don't want Gareth Bale at Manchester United. I've got strong reservations about him. He's injury prone, he's aging up, he's nearly 30 years of age. But like I said, despite the fact that he's injury prone, his stats are very, very good. His ratio and that's very, very good and all that. It's Gareth Bale. So maybe if he did come back to the Premier League, he probably would succeed. Maybe he would exceed expectation levels. But I wouldn't be keen on bringing him to Manchester United now. He's got 3 years left on his contract at Real Madrid. He's been at Real Madrid 6 years and all that. Like I currently said, but I just don't want him now at Manchester United. Gareth Bale. I just don't want him at Manchester United because I've just got so many strong reservations about him. So I don't want to see him as part of the deal with Paul Pogba. Obviously, he's been at Real Madrid 6 years. Obviously, Real Madrid did pay around £85 million for him from Tottenham, back in 2013 and all that. But like I said, too inconsistent now. He's been inconsistent anywhere in his last couple of seasons with Real Madrid. But yeah, I don't want to see Bale as part of the deal with Paul Pogba. It actually came out from the Metro yesterday saying that Real Madrid were willing to offer £72 million, plus to give Manchester United the choice, between Gareth Bale and Isco. But I don't think Manchester United are entertaining this offer. So I do believe, we did currently turn this down and all that. But, Juventus have stepped their interest up at least in the last couple of weeks. Obviously, Juventus have held negotiations with his agent Raiola. Obviously, confirmed a couple of weeks ago that the Juventus director had travelled to London, to hold more extensive talks with Manchester United over the possibility of re-signing Paul Pogba. Like I said, Juventus are doing good business in this window. Maybe it could be more than likely that Juventus would have to offload one or two of their essential players to fund the move for Paul Pogba, because I don't think they'd be able to afford Paul Pogba outright. They wouldn't be able to afford Paul Pogba outright and all that. But yeah, Juventus are interested in re-signing, because he did have 4 good years in Turin, like I said, but he hasn't really replicated this form since he did make the return to Manchester United. Obviously, Paul Pogba's still got 2 years left on his contract with Manchester United with an option to extend it by a further year. He's our most expensive player. Obviously, he's one of the highest paid players in the club. But it came out the other week saying that we was willing to offer Paul Pogba a long-term contract worth up to around $500,000 a week, to try and convince him to remain at the football club. And it also said Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was willing to offer him the vice captaincy, in another bid to try and convince him to stay at the football club. But Paul Pogba has blatantly made it clear, he wants to leave Manchester United and all that. But yeah, we have seen glimpses of his best form, and we mainly saw it in that 3-month period when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. That's when we mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba. But I think Paul Pogba last season made 47 appearances in all competitions, scored 16 goals, provided 11 assists, and I think since he rejoined in 2016, he scored 31 goals in 135 appearances for the club, and he has obviously won the Europa League and the League Cup with us. Obviously, that came in his second season with Manchester United. So I probably still believe he'll end up going to Real Madrid. Obviously, Real Madrid have got 5 players on the board so far this summer. They've spent over £300 million. Obviously, the vast majority of that went on Eden Hazard, who, of course, Real Madrid paid around £150 million. So Raiola confirmed this yesterday that Paul Pogba wants to leave the football club and all that. And yeah. And And yeah, that's mainly everything to update you. I've kept you up to date with what's going on with Romelu Lukaku and all that. Like I said, it's looking like the De Gea is going to be staying now. Probably no one matter, of course. He's going to be staying at the football club. But yeah, like I said, there's been so many midfielders on our current agenda. Obviously, there's still talks of Giovanni Lo Celso going on from Real Betis. It does say Manchester United and Tottenham are battling out for his services. But yeah, that's mainly everything to update you today, guys. But I hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can take us forward. I want to see vast improvements going into this season because last season was disappointing. We finished sixth. We didn't win many silverware and all that. And I hope Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can continue to take us forward. He has got a bit of experience as a manager, not really to the highest level, but he's gained a little bit of experience. Obviously, he managed the Manchester United reserve team for a couple of years. Obviously, he was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years under Alex Ferguson. But as you all know, he's worked out his transfer strategy. Wants to recommend a number of young players to come in. He believes he's following a similar sort of policy, that proved successful under Alex Ferguson. But I do believe we are moving away from the policy of signing them well-established players. But like I said, we've got to bring the right players to Manchester United, and we're going to fit the culture of the club, of course, and we're going to fit the history of the club, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, what of course wants to buy into our history. So we do still need a massive overhaul this summer, and still lots to address in the squad without a shadow of a doubt. But the main part of this video was to give you the breaking news about Ligt. I think it actually came out yesterday. Manchester United have reached an agreement with Ajax for Ligt and all that, because obviously now talks have stalled, between Juventus and Ajax over the potential transfer fee. So more than likely, Man United are still in the running until obviously, Juventus improve their offer for Matty Ligt. So I think Ajax are looking for somewhere in the region of around £75 million. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, like, on the channel. If you do consider subscribing, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.